Dear friends, today I am very happy to share the review of Sutra 1 Warrior's Journey of Chapter 1 and introduce the book Timeless Leadership. In this book, the eternal truth of Bhagavad Gita, which can be applied by leaders of all types of organizations. Timeless Leadership 18 Leadership Sutras from the Bhagavad Gita is written by Professor Dr. Devashish Chatterjee. He has taught leadership class at Harvard University, at the Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata, Lucknow and Kozhikode for nearly 2 decades. He has been awarded the prestigious Fulbright Fellowship twice for pre-doctoral and postdoctoral work at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. He has trained more than 10,000 managers globally in Fortune 100 corporations and has served as a leadership coach to political leaders and CEOs of major Indian organizations. He has served as Dean of International Business School in Singapore. He also served as an independent director on the boards of several multinational Indian companies. Now I would like to share about the text of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a timeless text of about 700 verses. It is a spiritual classic that originated in India many years before Christ was born. The book appeared is an episode in the Battle of Kurukshetra in the northern India. The Bhagavad Gita takes the form of conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. The themes of conversation ranges from the vast cosmos to the innermost soul of human beings, often referred to as the self. Timeless leadership weaves this battlefield conversation into a narrative on the problem faced by leaders such as Arjuna and the solution provided by Krishna from a perspective that is both compelling and contemporary. This conversation between Arjuna and Krishna is narrated by Sanjay to the blind king Dhritarashtra, who is eager to know the outcome of the battle. Thus the book is narrative within a narrative. The dean of the Harvard Business School, Professor Nitin Nehoria, said, "What immersion is to America and Confucius is to China, Krishna is to India." I have known several Indian CEOs who have made to the Fortune 100 list to echo the same feeling about Krishna's teachings to Arjuna. I trust this work is relevant for leaders around the world. I hope Krishna inspires leaders of all kinds to lead in their world in a way that make the world a happier and safer place for new generations. In the context of Gita, suspended in the middle of the battle, Arjuna, the leader warriors, refuses to fight. The epic battle between the Kaurava and the Pandava comes to a standstill. Bhagavad Gita zooms in on many moments of truth with an imminent battle in the backdrop. The fire's blowing of conch shells like lions roaring, massive movements of soldiers, nagging horses, battle banners fluttering on both sides. Arjuna, the greatest warrior of his time, is driven in a magnificent chariot by his friend, mentor and divine guide Krishna. Arjuna is leading battle on behalf of the Pandavas, who have lost their kingdom to their own kin, the Kauravas. In a wicked plot, the Kauravas have unjustly dethroned the Pandavas. This is a battle for a just cause, a battle of redemption. Arjuna says to Krishna, "Let me have a look at my enemies before I fight them." Krishna drives the glittering chariot pulled by four white horses right into the midfield between the two warring camps. Arjuna's eyes, his enemies, his former friends, his great teachers, and his revered uncles, he is in deep sorrow. He wonders before Krishna how he can kill his own people who are supposed to be loved and respected. Would not a battle lead to the breakdown of established institutions of caste and tribe? Would not this war lead to the disintegrations of family and ancestral virtues? Arjuna slumps down in his chariot in anguished indecisions. His hands begin to shake and he lays down his bow and arrows. In a dramatic turn of events, Arjuna seems completely lost in despair. He asks Krishna to show him the way. In Sutra 1, the warrior's journey, leaders embraces discontinuity and death. Death is a very likely the single best inventions of life. It is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you, but someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it is quite true. Quotes from Steve Jobs in his Stanford graduation speech, Spring 2005. Leading an organization of the 21st century requires more than just a firefighter's skill of putting out fires as and when they reach a alarming proportions. A firefighter is trained to fight and deal with the urgency. However, a leader of future will have to negotiate not only the urgent but also the emergent in the future. A leader of a major organization remarked that sometimes he does not have the luxury of choosing his battle. He has to fight each battle as it emerges from the environment and presents itself. The unpredictability of the battle for market share and mind share, the volatility of the environment, and the rapid fire changes that are happening in the business and political landscape. I have all the trapping of a full scale war. A mere firefighter cannot pretend to be a warrior. The ability to deal with emergent conditions of the war demands much more than functional skill. It requires a rare leadership virtues called awareness. The journey of awareness starts with self-awareness. Krishna leads Arjuna on this journey. Arjuna said, "My mind is in a whirl, seeing my own kin, facing death in my hands. My mouth is dry with fear, all my limbs are shaking. My bow keeps slipping through my hand. My skin burns, my brain reels. I am unable to stand. All wars are first fought in the mind. Therefore, it is in the mind that all wars must first be won." Arjuna, the great warrior, has mental breakdown in the middle of the battlefield. He does not wish to kill his kinsman in his refusal to take up arms against his near and dear ones are often those thoughts and emotions we are deeply attest to. The people we are closest to are the ones we are very often think of or feel strongly about. Kinship is determined by familiarity in thought and emotions. Whomever we are most familiar with becomes our family. For the leader of an organization, the, the convention of business as usual have to be challenged. These must be first challenged within one's immediate environment or one's own family. The agitated mind is a mob of thoughts and emotions at any point in time. Thoughts swarm across the mental space like bustling crowds in the metropolitan, and Arjuna is dejected and despondent. He is unable to focus his thoughts on a single point of actions. He is unable to lift his bow and arrow and get on with the war. Arjuna will need to distance and detach himself from his own ego, which is preventing him from knowing his own mind. The ego is like a disposable idea. An idea is like mental tissue paper that must be disposed of when it is outlives its utility. Yet we hang on to ideas as though they were inseparable from us. To look beyond the ego is to embrace discontinuity. Life moves on discontinuously. The ego struggles to hold back. Life is multidimensional. Ego is personally centered and one dimensional. Life is limitless and free flowing. The ego is conditioned by time, space, and personality. Krishna says to Arjuna, the leaders whose soul is unmoved by circumstances and who accept pleasure and pain with equanimity is invincible. The mind of the fighter swings between the fear of losing and allure of winning. This is the law of the binary mind. Such a mind cannot see beyond the duality of conflicting emotions. A loser is a self-made and so is a winner. The raw material for all our actions and all our achievements comes from ourselves. As a great mountaineer would say, it is not the mountains we conquer but ourselves. Arjuna thinks that his problem is to get out of a depressing situation where he is a reluctant fighter. Krishna knows that the root of the problem is that Arjuna is hunting for his real identity. Warrior's primary heart is for the I that is whole and all embracing. It is the ultimate quest in all forms of human conflict. The human identity is the fragmented in many ways. Us versus them, me versus you, intellect versus emotions, old versus new, right versus wrong. War is nearly a symptoms that we are attempting to heal this disintegrations. To heal is to find our whole some identity in the journey. Arjuna's problem is that he is focused on microscopic I, his own ego, wrapped in skin, bone, flesh, and blood. Krishna's solution is to take Arjuna's to the microscopic I, his soul self, that integrates him with his larger human identity. The microscopic I binds one body with another in a material relationship. This small eye creates multiple divisions between one eye and another. It functions through pigmentations of a larger human identity that is based on unity and its supporting values. However, the microscopic eye is the holder and beholder of these supporting values such as truth, love, and freedom. This I is the source of timeless dharma, that which holds everything together. Krishna is not only Arjuna's charioteer, he is also a friend of Arjuna. But Krishna is more than that, he is the very essence of Arjuna's identity, Arjuna's real soul self. Rajendra Sisodia, professor of marketing, Bentley University, says this book, Timeless Leadership, is treasure, a must read for anyone aspiring to be a conscious business leader and a fully realized human being. Hope you have enjoyed the warrior's journey of a classical hero Arjuna. Thank you.